So a while back, I bought this 2006 Chevy Suburban, and when I bought it, the guy told me that he had replaced the Hydroboost on it. He either got a faulty unit or he didn't really replace this, and let me show you why. You can see up there where the pushrod runs into the Hydroboost, and then you can follow it down and you can kind of see the trail where it's been leaking, and it's been leaking pretty bad for a while. Pull the floor mat back, you can see how badly stained that is, and you can see here where it's just been dumping power steering fluid into the cab, and it stinks and it's staining the carpet, and I just needed to get it taken care of. And under the hood even, it's been leaking in a few places, so I'm not sure how recent this job had been done or if it had even been done. I'm going to get it rebuilt. My real concern here is just showing how to get that pushrod out and get those seals replaced. We start by removing these two nuts and removing the brake master cylinder. It just slides off of these two studs here. And then we remove the power steering lines from the Hydroboost unit. This side is a 16 millimeter and the other side is 18 millimeter. And then we have 5 star head bolts that hold the Hydroboost together. I'm just breaking them loose while the unit is still mounted, and it's a E12 socket, so you'll need that before you start this project. And then under the dash, connected to the brake pedal, is the brake light switch. And you'll have to get up under there, and I'm just using a very small precision flathead screwdriver to pry the electrical fitting loose there. It's a little bit tricky to get to, but if you can just slide that up in there, you should be able to loosen that connection and then just pull it out by the wires. And then once you have those wires out of the way, there's this little metal clip that holds the push rod and the brake switch to the brake pedal, and it just slips on. It's got a little keyway that it slips into, and so if you can get right underneath that clip right there and lift it up, and then with your finger push the whole clip out of the way. It's pretty easy to do with one hand, and then it just slides off of that rod. And then I didn't get it filmed here, but once you get this clip off, the brake switch and the push rod connection both just slide off of that metal rod together. And then the Hydroboost is mounted through the firewall here. There's 4 studs that stick through, and there are 4 15 millimeter nuts that you have to take off, and you should be able to get a socket and a ratchet up in there. I used a deep well because those studs are pretty long, and you should be able to break those loose. If not, you might have to use a little wobble on the end of your extension and then use your socket on the end of there. And then back under the hood, you can just grab the Hydroboost unit, and you have to make sure that your master cylinder is out of the way and all those hoses, and it should just lift right out of there. And there's that star head socket that you're going to need to take these bolts out and split this Hydroboost in half. And then you need to take this thing apart really slowly because there's some springs and small parts in there that you don't want to lose. So you just carefully pull that back part off. And then just pay attention when you're pulling these pieces out. The upper piece there has a little groove in it, and it slips right in between two little pins in that pivot. And now to the important part here. You can see that that push rod is, it's kind of just on a little ball joint. It's press fitted in there. And I'm just taking a 3/8 extension through the loop, and you can kind of see it starting to move, but it might need a little bit of persuasion. So just a few little taps here, and it should just pop right out. And there you can see the little ball end, and it just presses in there. It's really just a friction fit. And here is the seals that were leaking, and I am just using, again, that little precision screwdriver to pry those out. Something like a brass pick would probably be better so you don't scratch anything, but you can do this carefully and get those seals popped off of there. And they stretch quite a bit once you get them pulled out, and they just slide off of the end here. It takes just a little bit of work, but once you get them going, they'll pop right off. And then here your new seals will just go right back on. I just kind of got the thing lubed up a little bit with some of the fluid that had dripped out of the unit. And one thing you want to make sure of is that these seals are directional, so pay attention to the way the original ones came off, and make sure you put the new ones on the same direction. And again, using the little screwdriver or pick, just kind of pry them, but be very careful. You don't want to damage these, or you'll be doing this project all over again. There also is a seal inside this main bore that needs replaced. I didn't actually show it here, but I'm just showing you that it's in there. So make sure you replace that one as well. And then don't forget to replace this main kind of figure 8 looking seal here. That's what goes between the two halves, and if you don't replace that, you will have a leak. And then I found it easier to put that spring inside that piston before you slide the piston into the body here, and that way that spring doesn't kind of try to fall out when you put it in. And then I don't know what this piece is called, but the thing that's important here is that when you put this back together, that little pivot has 2 pins that need to slide right in that groove on that piston. And also you can see where my thumb is in that bore is where that main seal was, and you might have to kind of push your thumb in to get that piece in there. And then the two halves just go back together and make sure everything is where it needs to be and nothing falls out, and everything is lined up right, and all your springs are where they need to be, and you should be good to go. It should just go right back together here. And then once you get everything lined up here, you're ready for reassembly. Just the opposite of the way you took it apart. These star bolts go back in there to hold everything together. And I'm just giving them a hand tighten here while the unit is on the bench. I'll torque them down once it's mounted back to the firewall. And I'm sorry about the angle here. I thought my camera was tipped up more, but you can see where I put that ball end into the other shaft. And I'm just tapping it in with a wrench. I literally just picked up a wrench off the bench and tapped it in. It's literally that easy to get it in there. Like I said, it's not a very tight fit. Once it's put back in the vehicle, the brake pedal will be pushing up against it so it can't pull back out. And then the final step here is putting this little spring in the back end here and this little star retainer. It is also directional, and it pushes in one way and then it catches in a little groove down inside there and it can't come back out. So make sure it's seated good. And then assembly here is just the reverse of coming out. Make sure your push rod gets through the firewall, get all your studs lined up with the holes, and push it in there, and it will hold itself in place while you go inside and put the nuts on. And then one by one, just put your nuts back on those studs, get them tightened up. And then here's a better view of how that brake switch goes back on. That push rod will slide right between the two sides of the brake switch. It's got two kind of clips that stick out. And then once you get it lined up, you just push the whole thing up into place. And it's a little tricky because you can only do it with one hand. And then it just slides onto that shaft that's connected to the brake pedal assembly. There it goes. And then your retainer clip just slides back over that shaft, and you'll give it a little twist if you need to, slide it back in place, and that clip should go right over it. And then don't forget to plug your electrical connector back into your brake switch, which again, this is all a one-handed job, so it can be a little tricky to do, but it's not terrible. And then reconnect your power steering lines. Make sure they're snug. Don't cross thread them. That would be a problem. Sometimes they're a little bit tricky to get started straight, and you don't want that to happen. So, and then again, make sure they're snug. And then don't forget to top off your power steering fluid, because you surely lost some when you disassembled the unit. And also, if you had the same problem I had, you are probably low anyway because it's been dumping into your cab. All right, so I got it all finished, put back together. And one thing that you need to do when you get that replaced is to make sure your power steering fluid is full, and then rotate your steering wheel back and forth all the way till it stops, about 5 or 6 times per direction, and then pump your brakes. And then I went ahead and did my steering wheel again and pumped it again. I've pumped my brakes several times, and I checked back under there, and it doesn't appear that there's any fluid leaking out. So I think those seals are going to work, and hopefully I won't have any more trouble. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you.